So anyway, okay. Good morning. So I was thinking about this message, I believe, yesterday when I got home. I said, I went, so I was thinking about yesterday when I got home. I was like, I'll get on here and do a video, but I didn't. This morning I was headed out the door and I said, let me go ahead and do this video. So what I want to talk to you today about is do it again. Good morning. Do it again. This is what I don't want you to do again. Okay? It's two things I want you to do. I want you to do it again and don't do it again. So that just came to me from God. So I know it's him. I want you to, whatever God told you to do that failed, do it again. Whatever generational curses that keep trying to block you and stop you, whether it's lust, I don't care what the generational curse is, don't do that again. So don't repeat the generational curses, okay? Do repeat that thing that you thought was God when you first started. You just knew it was God. But because it failed, you gave up on it. Do that again. So I got scripture to back me up. So the first thing I want to talk about is, let's go back. Let's just do this right here. And what I mean is this. I want you to dig. When I was writing all those books, God kept saying, dig another ditch. Dig another. I mean, he was telling me, baby, write another book. Keep digging. Keep digging. Because what's going to happen is, oh my goodness, don't dig. See, here's the thing. A wise investor don't wait until everything is popping before they start investing. You understand? You got to prepare yourself. You got to prepare yourself. That means in 2011 and 2012, I was writing books like I know about 60 something books. I was digging, but now I'm here. So everything that I did then is following me now. So don't wait until God do something for you or make your name great or give you influence or give you a platform before you do what he told you to do. Because see, what you're doing is God is preparing your table. We already know, in the presence of your enemies. See, God is preparing your table if you obey him. And when you are presented to the world, when your business, your ministry, your gifts and talents is presented, you won't have to try to hurry up and get a ghostwriter or hurry up and no, you have your stuff already ready. You understand? Not excluding you already still in this point, you're working on projects now. So you don't never stop digging. That's what I'm telling you. So let's go to Isaac real quick. The kids sleep, Greg going to work. I'm headed out. I wasn't planning on doing this, but I want to encourage you real quick. You know, Isaac and Abimelech. There was a famine in the land, and it's the same situation that happened with his father, Abraham. That's why I said, do it again and don't do it again, okay? There was a famine in the land besides the first famine. This is Genesis 26, and I'm starting at verse 1. That was in the days of Abraham. And Isaac went to Abimelech, king of the Philistines, in Gerar. Then the Lord appeared to him and said, do not go down to Egypt. Live in the land of which I shall tell you. Dwell in this land, and I will be with you and bless you. For to you and your descendants I give all these lands, and I will perform the oath which I swore to Abraham your father. That's why it's so important to ask God everything. You know, you need God's guidance on where to move, what city to move to. You need God's guidance. Because see, wherever God guides, he provides. When God sent me to Chesterfield, first of all, God sent me to my daughter's house. 1 bedroom, all 6 of us to sleep on my baby floor. God led me there. He provided. He said, go help your daughter. What you make happen for your daughter, I'm going to make happen for you. God provided. Then he led us all the way out to Chesterfield. Rent was paid up for a whole year. Then after that, he provided me with the rent money. I was paying my rents 2 or 3 months ahead of time. You understand? Then he brought us here. Now this rent is $14.55, and we pay that 2 and 3 months ahead of time. You understand? Where God guides, he provides. So he told him, no, just stay here. Then he said, and I will make your descendants multiply as the stars of the heaven, and I will give your descendants all these lands, and in your seed all the nations of the earth shall be blessed, because Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge. See, look at that. So Isaac is being blessed by what his father did. Do that. He's been blessed because his father obeyed God. That's the first thing. See, that's why I want to obey God. So my children, God is no respect of persons. I want God to bless me so greatly so that I can be a blessing to my children's children. See, and then it says, because Abraham obeyed my voice, verse 5, and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws. So God was finishing up what he said. I'm going to bless you because of your father. And I'm going to multiply. He said the same, he promised him the same thing because his daddy obeyed. So Isaac dwelt in Gerar, and the men of the place asked about his wife. And if you go back and read Genesis 20, like Genesis 20 on to like maybe Genesis 21, it talks about the same situation. So Abraham had a beautiful wife, just like Isaac, and I'm about to read it, Sarah was Isaac's mother. But listen, that's what I'm telling you, do's and don'ts. Listen, so Isaac dwelt in Gerar, and the men of the place asked about his wife, and he said, she is my sister. For he was afraid to say she is my wife, because he thought lest the men of the place kill me for Rebekah, because she is beautiful to behold. That's powerful. Abraham did the same thing. He was afraid to tell them people that Sarah was his wife, so he lied. So what generational curse is the enemy trying to bring on this situation? Lies. Abraham lied. He was afraid that he was going to die. Isaac lied. He was afraid he was going to die because his wife was so beautiful, and the men would kill him for his wife. Jacob lied. Rebekah lied, which was Isaac's wife. You understand? So we gotta recognize what's the generational curses. It might not be a witchcraft curse. It could be rebellion, which is as the sin of witchcraft. People don't look at that. They look at the stuff that these witches practice. No, it could be your stubbornness. It could be your lust. It could be your disobedience, whatever the generational curse is. It could be alcoholism. It could be adultery. It could be anything. It could be abuse. It could be sexual abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse. My father, I love my daddy. My daddy was an amazing father, but he always fuss. And guess what? I was the same way. When before I gave my life to Jesus, fussing at my oldest daughter, she was just so little and so sweet. Fuss at her, fuss at Greg, just fuss. Now, devil, that buck stops here. By the way, my maiden name is Buckner. So give me a look, Cloud. The buck stops here on the Buckners. No, just kidding. No, you're not going any further. So we will not do those generational curses. Acknowledge those generational curses. If God would not have saved me, all my children will be around here cursing. You see how you see on the videos? They take a picture of their little bitty cute little daughter, and she's singing all that sexual stuff that she hearing and they taking pictures and recording it like it's cute. Why? Because that's what they do. They teach their kids how to be who they are. So the buck stops here. No. So whatever the situation is, lust, adultery, no. Kill that spirit. Kill that curse. When you give your life to Jesus, you should not be living the same life. Something got to change. That's one thing I did not want when I gave my life to Jesus. I did not want to get off that floor because he knocked me down, okay? And come back home the same person. I didn't want to come back home cussing. I didn't want to come back home. I didn't want to be no foolish, unchanged Christian. I refuse to be that. I got to be like him. I got to change. And when I feel my flesh going back, it's time to fast. It's time to renew. It's time to reset. It's time to steal away. So then the Bible says, he says, now it came to pass, Genesis chapter 26, verse 8. Now it came to pass when he had been there a long time that Abimelech, king of Philistines, looked through a window and saw, and there was Isaac showing endearment to Rebekah, his wife. Excuse me. Let me just say something. Let me just put a little pin in this. You know, to the men, because I have men watching me too. Show endowment to your wife. Show endearment to your wife. Show romance her. You know, even if it's just spending a little quality time with her, making her feel beautiful, make her blush. And the same thing with the women. You got men, and I wasn't going to talk about this, but it's in here, so let's just go ahead and go with it. You got men that their wives won't even touch them. Then they walk around the house with their little bitty old shorts on and half naked and won't even have sex with their husband. Then you got men that won't even come near their wives. Those things should not be so. You understand? And then you got the wife that's being neglected. Well, I cheated because you neglected me. Well, wife that cheated because your husband neglected you, you gonna be accountable for that sin before God, no matter what nobody done to you. So we can't let nobody push us into sin, because guess what? You the one gonna get burned. It's just that simple. You are accountable for your own sins. So don't let nobody push you into sin. If they don't want to love you, learn how to love yourself. It's just that simple. Because to be perfectly honest, and I know both of them, the worst thing to be is married and lonely. That's horrible. Because if you're single and lonely, there's hope for love. You know, there's hope for your man of God coming along and sweeping you off your feet and loving you. But when you married, and even the thought of a hope that a man gonna come and sweep you off your feet is adultery. So you just can't win with that one. Let's go to the next subject. Okay. So anyway, y'all. Girl, let me finish this, girl. Then Abimelech called Isaac and said, quite obviously, she's your wife. So how could you say she is my sister? Isaac said to him, because I said, lest I die on account of her. And Abimelech said, what is this you have done to us? The same thing. God is not playing when it comes to you messing with somebody's spouse. You are going to be in trouble, especially when they chose him. Even if you don't know. So just say you meet this girl on Facebook, or this man on Facebook, and you didn't know they was married, and you go messing with them. You still gonna be in trouble. You still gonna be in trouble because God, this is serious. Some things people going through, they don't know why. It's because you might be messing with somebody that's married and they just ain't told you. He says, so Abimelech charged all his people saying, he who touches this man or his wife shall surely be put to death. Now, here's what I want to get to. The reason why I brought that up, and it's the same thing that Abraham did prior to Isaac doing this, because I want to tell you all, we got to know that the curse, the generational curse, stops here. It stops with you. So, then Isaac sowed in the land and reaped in the same year 100-fold, and the Lord blessed him, and the man began to prosper and continued prospering until he became very prosperous. Verse 14, for he had possession of flocks and possessions of herds and a great number of servants. So the Philistines envied him. So when God starts blessing you, expect envy. So I want you to prepare for that, so that when the people you least expect start treating you wrong, you won't get offended and lose everything. The people you think should be supporting you the most and so happy for you, no, they gonna go do their own. They don't care about you like that. Everybody want their own. The people that you think should be excited and be there for you or share your joy, please. So you have to protect yourself so you won't get bitter and resentful and angry and hating on them. So because guess what? All of those are paths to destruction. You got to forgive people and keep it moving. Now the Philistines had stopped up all the wells which his father's servants had dug. Now, the same exact thing that happened to Abraham is now happening to Isaac. Now the Philistines had stopped up all the wells which his father's servant had dug in the days of Abraham his father, and they had filled them with earth. So all of the wells that Abraham dug up, the Philistines closed them up. They filled them with dirt. Earth, it says in the Bible earth, but they filled it with dirt. Listen, and Abimelech said to Isaac, go away from us, for you are much mightier than we. And God will make your enemies your footstool. He will put, if you read Deuteronomy, God said, I'm gonna put a fear up on you. So God will make people reverence you and give you reverential respect. He'll put that fear up on you so those people be afraid to come near you. That's why I know I'm not the one to be played with. I told y'all, every Negro that ever put their hands on me, except for my husband and except for this other guy I used to date, they are pushing roots right now in the grave. So I know God don't play when it comes to me. So these people think it's okay. It's not okay. Keep your hands off of God's children. Keep your mouth off of God's children. You understand? And I don't speak no ill will on Greg or the other guy, because me and Greg used to, of course, only way I can whoop Greg is if he let me. If, that's it. But I'm just saying, God knows the truth. Because, I used to slap him, he'll let me. Finally, one day he got tired. And that's how that happened with Greg. The other guy was a dirty rascal. I was 15, treating him like I was his wife. And he was a rascal. And that's why God took my heart out of that mess. And I never looked back. Because one thing about a good woman, baby, you leave your trademark. And they'll always be trying to find it. Okay? Listen. Okay. Then, this verse 17, then Isaac departed from there and pitched his tent in the valley of Gerar and dwelt there. And Isaac dug again. See, this is where this is where the title come from, do it again. And Isaac dug again the wells of water which they had dug in the days of Abraham his father. For the Philistines had stopped them up after the death of Abraham. He called them by the names which his father had called them. Also Isaac's servants dug in the valley and found a well of running water. Now the herdsman of Gerar quarreled with Isaac's herdsmen, saying, the water is ours. So he called the name of the place Esek, because they quarreled with him. Then they dug another well, and they quarreled over that as well. So they called it the name Sitnah. And he moved from there and dug another well. See how they keep moving him? See how they keep trying to block him? And that's why I come on to tell you, keep digging. Every time the enemy try to block your business, block you from growing, block you from being happy, you got to keep digging. You got to keep it going. Do it again. Do it again. If I didn't come here to tell you nothing, I came here to tell you do it again. Do you know how many times everything I put my hand to in the past, it failed. It failed. I told y'all, I went to my sister's house one time in 2010. I believe it was around that time. She had surgery. She couldn't even move. So me and my kids went over there to help her, clean up her house and stuff. I was already depressed. Nobody knew it but the devil. So I go to her house. She laying in her bed. I'm trying to help her. She looks at me in my face and says, I know you tired of all this failure in your life. That's what the devil like to do. He like to kick you when you down. Okay? But the reason why I brought that up again was because of all the failure. Everything I tried to do failed. Everybody else moving on with their life, succeeding, been able to pay their bills, doing their thing. But everything I put my hand to failed. But guess what, y'all? I did it again. And I did it again. So if I can keep doing it, you can do it. Because if everything else dies around you, all the plants, the roses, I don't care. Listen, as long as your relationship with Jesus is still alive, you can do it again. Sometimes you might need him to do CPR on you. Sometimes you might need him to resuscitate you. Sometimes you might need him to raise you from the dead. But it don't matter. As long as you still got him with you, you can do it again. So anyway, long story short, Isaac kept digging. Finally, and he moved from there and dug another well, and they did not quarrel over it. It's going to come a time when the enemy going to leave you alone. See, God made him move. And here's the thing. My fasting, obeying God and fasting is what made that devil leave me alone. Now, don't get me wrong. He'll peek his head up trying to do things. But here, it comes a time when God is going to make that devil leave you alone. The Bible said that Satan left Jesus alone. He went away into another opportune time. So he'll leave you alone. But then he'll try to come back. But that's okay. You prepare. I was driving my daughter to get her nails done the other day. And the Lord showed me a license plate that said, suit up. Suit up. But it was a number 5 in the place of the suit. So grace up. Grace up. Number five means grace, numerology. Grace. Suit up and with grace, baby. So put on the whole armor of God, because you better believe, I tell y'all all the time, if you ain't going through nothing now, get ready. Prepare yourself, okay? Prepare yourself. Don't just work on your physical body. You better work on your spiritual body, your mental body, your emotional body. Work on every area of your life. Suit up. So eventually God blessed him, and the Lord appeared to him at the same night and said, I am God of your father Abraham. I am the God of your father Abraham. Do not fear, for I am with you. He said, don't fear, I'm with you. I remember God used to tell me that all the time, because I was always afraid. You know, that spirit of fear. He said, do not fear, for I am with you. I will bless you and multiply your descendants for my servant Abraham's sake. So if God ain't blessing you for you, go back and say, God, I'm a seed of Abraham. You promised to bless me. I'm a seed of Abraham. And if that don't work, which it will, I'm offspring of Christ. I'm your child. You understand? So I'm just saying, you got to know what belongs to you. That's why it's good to meditate on these things. I've been up since 3-something this morning. I've been up since 1-something this morning. Yes, I've been with the Lord. I've been with my Jesus, and I love him so much, and I ain't finished. Okay? So, yes, and let me read this real quick, and I'm going to let you all go. He said, don't be afraid. I am with you. I will bless you and multiply your descendants for my servant Abraham's sake. So he built an altar there. Look at that. So Isaac built an altar. You got to have you a prayer closet. And you don't have to be in the closet unless you want to be in the closet, because you might not have no closet space. Anywhere you are, you can build your altar, because that's your prayer. I pray all day. I just talk to him. I need him. I don't know what to do. Even if I ain't asking him to show me or guide me, I'm telling him how beautiful he is. I ain't never seen nobody like him. You understand? No matter what I do, can't nothing turn him off. He's not like a water faucet. You can turn him on and off. Ain't nothing I do could turn him off. So he built an altar there and called on the name of the Lord. And he pitched his tent there, and Isaac's servant dug a well. Keep on digging, baby. Keep on digging. That thing that didn't work in the past, do it again. Do it again. And this is how you can tell it was a God thing, because you started it and you didn't finish it. And let me tell you another way you know it's God thing, because the distraction of Satan caused you not to finish it. You know how when you get on fire for God and you love the Lord, you love him so much, next thing you know, here come Tim. For you know it, you don't know where God went, but all along you ain't leave, God didn't leave you, you left him. Or here comes Susie, she got that mommy makeover, but she don't know how to make her bed. And you leave Jesus for Susan, and you come to realize this woman don't even clean up her house. She don't even wash dishes. But you left Jesus for what you saw. But that's how the devil rolled. That's how you know you was on the right path. Because Satan is going to come and try to distract you. But you got to be wise enough. You got to be humble enough. You got to be suited up enough so you won't fall for his temptations. Been there, done that. And what I mean by that is lust. You don't have to act up on sin. You don't even have to think sexual thoughts about somebody to be lusting. You can want somebody's spouse, wish they was yours. You can want somebody's house and car, wish it was yours. You can covet anything without even touching it. So all I'm saying to you is this. Just look back on your life and see what you was doing and see how you sometimes we don't even know how we got off track. The train just over here. I don't even know how. Look, take some time and see, because I guarantee you was in love with the Lord. Here comes Satan, and that's his job. I guarantee you was about to do this business. Something stopped you. Here comes Satan. You see what I'm saying? It ain't about money. The business I have, I started it. I'm like, God, I ain't got no money, but I knew God was telling me to go. I knew he was telling me to go. So I met with the girl, and she set up everything for me. She set up the EIN number. She set up my state Missouri ID number. She registered my business. I sat there in the chair and she did it all. That's why I'm going to call her today. Me and her, I've been talking back to her lately. You know, we got into it. Because I said, look, no sin in the camp. People don't like to hear that. But, I love her. I call and check on her, But anyway, she did everything. Even with my second business. Okay, let me tell you this. I didn't have a dime. I just was working my little job. Y'all know I was working overnights. My checks was like $600 every 2 weeks. Thank God I didn't have a rent for a year. Then you got to pay tithes. Then you got to pay by food. You have to have gas. So God was literally taking care of us, me and these kids. Well, Greg too, in his own, wherever he was, his hotel. So anyway, long story short, but that whole time me and Greg was divorced, I still pay his cell phone bill. I still did his taxes. I still call him and say, you got to do this. But I was the one doing it because I took care of the business. So I just didn't want to leave him without taking care of his stuff he needed to take care of. So I still did it. He always was thankful. Thank you, Joy. Just sweet, just always have been. And one time his income tax, he had got, I think like $200 and some back. Because, he owed money. And when he got that back, I say, Greg, guess what? And I think it was $301. I say, guess what? You got $300. You getting $300 back on your taxes. He said, thank God they ain't taking it. He said, you know what, Joy? You can have it. And that just made my heart melt. I'm like, ooh, God, So I guess us being there for each other, even, when we weren't married, when you got somebody that got a good heart for real, because they still, And so anyway, so I walked in there, she registered my business and did all that. So now so now we got to get a lease. We got to get all this stuff together before we present the proposal to the state. If you want to contract with the state to get funds from them, okay? Why come? I had to come up with $300 for my deposit on my office space. Now the office the guy showed me was a huge office, but I didn't want all of that. So he said, I'll knock this out and make you a door. So it'll be just what you see. I said, that's what I want. And you know what? I didn't pay rent. Now this was 2014 when I did all of this. Because you have to have everything set up as if you have a business so you can present your proposal to the state. Do you know I didn't pay rent on that place no more to 2017? And in 2017, I probably paid rent for maybe 3 times. And my rent at the office space is just $150. But my deposit was $300. Do you know, God bless where I didn't have no rent all that time? See, that's what I'm saying. You will never know if you don't go. You would never know if you don't go. If you don't go, you would never know what provision. Let me see. You won't never know what God got for you over there if you don't go. So you thinking you need this much money, and God saying, just go. I already got that worked out for you. I said all that to say this. Anyway, I said all that to say this. Don't worry about what you ain't got. If you don't go, you won't know. You understand? So I want you to keep digging. Don't stop, because you know your children's destiny depends on you. See, my father died. He left us nothing. He left my mama, well, my daddy, over the years, he had all of us where we can all get a portion of his insurance money if he ever died, because my daddy was very responsible. So he had life insurance, everything you needed. But over the time, he would borrow off of that or whatever. But over the time, eventually he left everything to my mother, which she deserved all of it. When I tell you my mama, she deserved every dime. But then guess what? That left us with nothing. It only left us with whatever my mom would give us. And, but she had to take care of herself. So with that being said, I want God to bless me while I'm living. I want God to bless the work of my hands. I want my kids to be able to walk in their business. Not saying I want my kids to be irresponsible. No, my kids are going to serve God. But I can't wait to see if, like, I don't know what my nephew is doing. Michael Beasley, that's my nephew. And when my father died, that's when I found out about my brother, which is Michael's dad. Well, when my brother called us, he said, Joe, and when I met Michael was about 8 or 10. He was a kid jumping in my mama's living room, breaking her chandeliers, trying to play basketball. Well, anyway, when his dad called, he said, Joe, I was trying to find all my sisters because I wanted to tell y'all that Michael got drafted into NFL, and he was getting like $50 million a year or something. Well, guess what? I didn't get none of that. My family didn't get none of that. So I can't depend on nobody else's family to take care of my family. You understand? So I can't wait until my boys become professional athletes or whatever to start trying to make a living for my family. That's what I'm saying. You got to start now. You got to do it now. You got to do it again. You understand? Don't sit there and wait. God told me that. He said the ants, they prepare their food in the future. In the summer for the future. You got to prepare your food now. You understand? So that you can be ready for the future. That's what God did. God had Joseph he was preparing for all of his children, all of Jacob's children, all of Israel. Sent that boy to Egypt. That's why sometimes you don't look at the place you're going, just obey God. And guess what? Joseph had that wisdom to know how to prepare for the bad days. So you got what God is getting ready to do now. You don't throw it away. Do what you need to do, but you got to save and you got to invest. You got to follow God to do what you need to do so you can be prepared for the hard days. You understand? If you do what God tells you to do with the money God is giving you, then you're gonna save some. You pay your tithes and offering, you save some, you have your emergency fund, and you invest some. And the greatest investment is in the kingdom of God. What I mean by that is this. If God tell you to sow seed to somebody, sow them seeds. Because when that seed come up, it's going to come up a harvest. People think giving to somebody is not, some people think giving to somebody is not investment. Oh, it's the greatest investment. You hear me? So all those seed I got in the ground, I'm just waiting for. I'm gently waiting on my harvest. So that's investment as well. And if you sow seed, you can expect your harvest. You understand? Then I got stock in Walmart, Ameren UE, and Apple. And the reason why I got stock in Walmart is because God told me to. He said, stop throwing all your money away in Walmart. He said, invest in it. So I said, okay, I didn't know what to do. So I just went to Scottrade or somebody, and I said, okay. And then I said, wait a minute. My daughter always getting Apple product. Let me do Apple too. Then I say, Aaron, you eat getting all my money every month. Let me do them too. I'm just saying, you got to have investments. You got to have investments in the kingdom of God as well. You got to have money saved, and you got to pay your tithes, and you got to have an emergency fund. If it starts with a penny, start now. I don't care if you ain't got a dime. You find a penny, pick it up, pray over that penny just in case somebody cursed it, and put it in your penny jar. So ain't nothing too small. I don't want to hear no excuses. I don't want to hear no excuses. Because it ain't none. You can start right where you are, like I said yesterday. Now, I was supposed to be at the gym walking, and I took a few minutes of my gym time to talk to you. So hopefully this be some kind of blessing to y'all, okay? So ain't no excuses. If you don't get up and make something happen, then ain't nothing gonna happen. You sitting up there thinking you so pretty, thinking somebody just gonna see you walking down the street and think you the prettiest thing in the world and take you and ride you off into riches. The only where they do that at is trafficking, and you ain't getting a dime. And we rebuke trafficking in Jesus' name. But if you sit up there waiting on a check to come in the mail and you ain't getting that to generate a check, and that's how you make your living, give it up. You know? And another thing, stop being manipulative and deceptive. Some people, they that's how they make their living. Being deceptive so somebody else can always do something for them. It's okay for somebody to help you, but I'm saying don't be manipulative to get people to help you. It's a difference. So give me some kisses, y'all. Give me some kisses. I love y'all so much. So you just stay focused and what I tell y'all to do. Tell me what I told y'all to do. Then I'm gonna get off here. What I say do what? What I say? Somebody tell me. So what's our word for the day? Come on, tell me. That's right, Minerva B, girl, do it again. I know that's right. Listen, do it again. If you apply for that job and you know God say that's yours, do it again. If you apply for, I ain't trying to be funny. You apply for, I don't care. Social Security, they denied you. Do it again. You apply for that car and they denied you. Do it again. Now listen, here's the thing. When Isaac they kept coming trying to start confusion with him digging his well, and the same thing with Abraham, they didn't dig in the same spot. They went and digged in another spot. So if one company don't hire you, go apply again somewhere else. You understand? If that school if that school denied your application, go somewhere else. Do it again. Don't give up on your education. Don't give up on your business. Don't give up on whatever God tell you to. If that church building denied you to rent that church or lease that church or buy that church, do it again. Okay? I love y'all. Have a blessed day. Thank y'all for taking time to listen to me.